Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We have some huge stuff for you guys. The developer update is upon us. We know everything that's going to be coming out in this developer update. And guys, this is huge stuff. This is probably one of the biggest developer updates that we have seen in a very, very long time. There's tons of cool stuff in here. So let's go ahead and talk about everything. All right, so they said that the developer update, the Tools of Torment mid-chapter update is quickly approaching. So with that being said, it's time for another developer update. Let's jump on into everything. First of all, we got Bloodweb improvements. I'll actually just move my cam over a tiny bit. There you go. So there's multiple things that are going to be happening with the changes of the Bloodweb itself. First of all, there is going to be a blood chain. So essentially what this means is that if you click on any node, wherever it is, it will automatically go to that point. So for example, if let's say we're looking at this Bloodweb up here, if we click on the brand new part, it'll automatically grab the focus lens or the lens and then the brand new part. So we don't have to go through everything in order to get to that point. If we wanted this leather grip for the flashlight, it will automatically again go to the focus lens, go to the offering, and then it will grab that. That's essentially how it's going to work. So now if you just really want to quickly grab something, boom, you can get it. Next, obviously, is what we've seen, the automatic purchasing. Essentially, if you click this button in the middle right here, it will automatically just level up. It will prioritize the perks for you, and then it will go cheapest to expensive. This way, you can just quickly level up as fast as you want. This is really cool as well. This is extremely good for console players because as a PC player, you can just kind of do that yourself. And after doing it for such a long time, you're able to do it really quickly. Which still in itself takes very long, but for console players, this took even longer. So this is a huge improvement. So now you don't need to worry about, oh my God, I gotta click through everything, especially if you're on console. Now you can just click automatically level up and tap up. As I said in my previous video as well, this is probably just the beginning. They're probably going to add in ways that you can prioritize, getting more expensive things. Maybe it goes so far in detail into saying, hey, I only want to get medkits. I only want to get this kind of toolbox. I only want to get these type of offerings in the future, and then it'll prioritize that. They said that this can also be used to partially completed Bloodwebs, allowing you to grab anything that you've got your eye on first as well. So if you are looking for something, let's say you see a top knot for Oni, you can grab it, then click automatic. If you're like, ooh, I really want this, then you click that. They said to ensure that players familiarize themselves with the contents in the Bloodweb, the button will only appear once the character has been prestiged for the first time. So that's really good. Finally, we have the press to buy feature. As you guys know, we used to have, and we still will have, a hold down option to purchase. Now, there's going to be a click to buy. Essentially, you just press the button and it automatically buys it. You won't get all the other things. You just click done. All of these things combined makes it so much easier to level up in the Bloodweb, and this is going to cut so much time from sitting there for so long. I'm really excited about this. And for the people that were saying, and I know there's other content creators saying this too, and I kind of went on a whole rant about it, saying that this is terrible and we waited so long to get this and blah, 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 just being so negative. And I said, listen, you're either a glass half full kind of person or a glass half empty kind of person, and this is probably going to be coming with more things in the future. If you waited literally 2 days instead of complaining and bitching the first day, then you would clearly see this. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even fully implemented and people were already complaining about it, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't get it. You guys know me. I keep it real. Sometimes I make videos criticizing things when it's really that bad, like we did with the Skull Merchant. Sometimes I'm like, just wait and see. Other times I'm pretty positive about things. I was optimistic about this. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Take it as you will. If you were one of those people that were just already, so upset about it, next time, wait, because you never know. Something like this will happen, and these 3 changes alone are huge. And if you're still not satisfied with it, they're probably going to add more things in the future with it anyways. Carrying on forward, we have the visual terror radius update. So we mentioned this before as well. This is kind of a thing that they took from mobile itself. Essentially, on your character, as you can see on this white, you will see a heartbeat. This means that whenever the killer's terror radius is around and you are actively hearing it, it will now appear on your character as a heartbeat. You will see their heartbeat. The more intense it gets, it means that the killer is closer. This is huge for accessibility. This is huge for players that are deaf and maybe even be hard of hearing. This is amazing. My friend Mark, who is one of the best Dead by Daylight players that I personally know, is deaf in one ear, and he's always asked for a feature like this, which is fantastic. So I'm happy that they added something like this. Obviously, if you are, you know, playing against a killer with Lullaby or something like that, they mentioned that this will appear as a haze on your chest instead, and the heart will become more vibrant and beat more intensely the closer the killer comes. Obviously, if you're playing against a stealth killer, you won't know. And if you are playing in any colorblind modes, there's different colors for the hearts as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So they said this option will not provide a competitive advantage compared to the usual audio terror radius, and will respect any terror radius perks, add-ons, or power. So essentially, if you're hearing the heartbeat, you'll see it. That's about it. So if you are cloaked up as a ghost face, it won't pop up. If you are running Tinkerer, it won't pop up. So there is no competitive advantage. It is just a wonderful accessibility option. Moving on forward, this is something that we kind of looked and teased and talked about, which was a Gas Heaven rework, but it seems that Auto Heaven itself is getting a complete rework. First of all, we got Blood Lodge changes. They said that in order to remedy and fix everything that's going on, the layout of Blood Lodge is going to be changed itself. The Blood Lodge will appear closer to the center, breaking up line of sight and separating some from the safer loops. The maze of tiles have also been separated from one another, making it more difficult to combine them together. So some balancing on the map, which a long time ago, Blood Lodge used to be Pallet Heaven. Now it's going to be a little bit different, and we can see what that will literally look like with the map itself just being, you know, completely in the middle. It'll be interesting. It looks a lot smaller as well. They didn't spoke about Gas Heaven, and they said that the big cars that we've seen in single chunks that are really long, I'm sure you're familiar with them, have now been broken up into smaller single chunks, and the car piles will now have possible pallet spawns to help make sure there's no dead zones in those areas, which is really exciting. It also seems that the map is going to be getting a little bit larger. And they said that the gas station itself has been moved to the center of the map since it makes the building much easier to access from anywhere on the map. And we've reviewed the spawning rules to prevent strong combinations with windows. So hopefully that works out quite nice. They then went ahead and talked about some other changes that will come out throughout the realm itself. So we'll see that. Healing is also going to get some changes. I mean, this is a huge patch, guys. It's absolutely huge. Oh, by the way, if you're still watching and enjoying, we are live on Twitch. Hopefully, we'll see you guys on twitch.tv/theking. Look, guys, I've been trying to stream a lot more. I've been trying to be on time every single weekday from probably about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3. Hopefully, we'll see you there. We still got some codes for the Skull Merchant DLC. I mean, if you do care and you do want Skull Merchant DLC codes, come on in. If you ask, I'll just give it to you while supplies last. Anyways, let's continue. Healing. Healing with medkits are going to be changed completely. And healing itself. First of all, healing is now going to take 24 seconds by default instead of 16 seconds. This will make each hit more impactful, ensuring that survivors will need to spend longer healing their wounds. They said second, they also rebalance healing across the board. All medkits will now only have 24 charges by default, allowing one heal before they're depleted. So the camping, the first aid, the emergency, and the ranger will all have 24 charges. Some of them do different things now. The camping will increase the altruistic healing by 20. This was 25. The first aid will do altruistic healing by 25. This was 35. The emergency will increase altruistic healing by 30. This was 50. You can no longer increase the speed at which you heal yourself. The Ranger Medkit will increase altruistic healing by 35, increases skill check success zones by 10, this was 14, and increases and great skill check zones by 10, and this was 15. They said lastly, they've done an add-on pass to all of the add-ons as well, bringing those which need overproofing into the lines of the rest. Add-ons which add more charges per medkit have also been reviewed with the new healing time in mind, though making it possible for a medkit to fully heal a survivor more than twice in a match. That's interesting. So medkits, you wouldn't just be able to like spam use them, get like 4, 5, 6 heals out of them, especially if you're in boon totems, things like that. You now will only get 1 heal per medkit unless you run add-ons, and everything about the medkit will be slower. Everything about healing will be slower. That's a really big change. Like things like Sloppy Butcher are going to become even more meta now because it's going to be a lot longer. Carrying on forward, there are perk updates. Tons of perk updates to be correct. I'm going to try to run through this because there's quite a few. Gearhead's going to be changed. When a survivor loses a health state, Gearhead activates for 30 seconds. While active, any survivor who hits a good skill check will have their aura revealed to the killer for 8 seconds. Overzealous has been changed. This will also activate when blessing a boon totem in addition to cleansing. We've also slightly increased the bonus to 8, 9, 10 instead of 6, 7, 8, which again is all right. Scourge Hook has been changed. They said that this perk starts with 4 tokens. For each time a survivor is hooked on a Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress will explode and lose its progress. They've also reduced the difference between different tiers of the perk. Now it is 11, 13, and 15. So you can't essentially spam Scourge Hook. I love Scourge Hook, so this is kind of sad, but I'll take it. I understand why they did it. Dead Hard Hair is probably going to be a controversial one for all of the survivor mains out there. And listen, before we even jump on into Dead Hard, I'm sure you're reading it. When they changed the, what perk was it for killer? I forgot exactly what it was. Eruption. Right. I said that they're going to change Dead Hard. Again, there was a lot of people saying that, no, Dead Hard's not going to get changes. There was a lot of content creators that said Dead Hard wasn't going to get changes. There was a lot of people just saying that this is, you know, they hate killers. This is their agenda of hating killers, blah, blah, blah. And I said, there's no way, there's no shot that they're going to be changing Eruption and not changing Dead Hard. That would just be the silliest thing to do. And I said Dead Hard, while you may think, hey, maybe it's not too strong. Maybe you think it is too strong. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it is used too much. So they need to turn the usage down. This is exactly what we're seeing. It says Dead Hard will activate after safely unhooking a survivor. When active, press the active ability button while injured and running to gain endurance for 0.5, then become exhausted. Dead Hard will deactivate when it successfully protects the user from damage, which means Dead Hard will basically be a one-time use perk unless you get another save. So you have to get a successful save. Then, kind of like Deliverance, you'll have Dead Hard. You can use it. You can use it. If you miss your Dead Hard and the killer doesn't hit you, you'll still have your Dead Hard. But if you use your Dead Hard and the killer hits you within that time, you'll lose your Dead Hard until you get another successful save. This is huge. I still think people are going to use Dead Hard, but it's going to be so much lower than it is because everyone's going to think Dead Hard is dead. But it's going to catch killers off guard even more now because now you got to be like, did someone get the unhook? And then you could really get value out of the perk, because a lot of people aren't going to anticipate that you do have Dead Hard the way they do now. Regardless, it means that you still have to do a little bit more to get your Dead Hard going, which is interesting. I mean, it's going to make the perk become a lot less used, which I'm all right with. Dead Hard has been used way too often. I don't necessarily think they should have gone so crazy with it, but hey, I'll take it. Colubrine has been changed as well. They toned down this power, reduced the additional regression speed up to 120%. This used to be 200%, so you're probably, again, not going to see Colubrine as much. Overcharge has been changed as well. They said to bring it in line with other perks, they reduced the maximum regression speed to 130. This used to be 200, so you won't be able to, really go crazy with Overcharge. And I then talked about Circle of Healing. I know a lot of people love Circle of Healing. They said moving forward, this will no longer allow survivors to heal without a med kit. Instead, it will provide a 50% healing bonus to healing others. This bonus will not apply to the healing done with a med kit. Additionally, the auras of injured survivors with boons range are revealed for all other survivors. Wow. So this is pretty huge. It basically means that you can't heal yourself unless you have a med kit. And if you do have your medkit in hand while in the Circle of Healing, the bonus itself is not going to be applied to the medkit. It's just going to be applied to the base. So healing speed bonus, or maybe it's not even applied to the base. Let me reread that. It will provide 50% healing speed to healing others. The bonus will not apply to healing done with a medkit. Okay, so that's just a medkit in general. Okay. But since you can no longer heal yourself, I mean, there's no point in healing yourself in the boon. Well, I guess, if you're injured, people will see you technically. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So it's made more so for an altruistic type of perk now, which I always thought it was, where you will have to heal others, or if you're in there, someone can come and try to heal you. This is actually still kind of good, because if someone does have a boon up and you are injured, you can use it to get information and to see other things. And I can see it being used a little bit more tactically, not just for healing, but just other things in general. Like if you're about to go down and you need a flashlight, say, boom, run into the boon, person knows where you're at. Next on the list, there's tons and tons of killer changes, guys. I told you, look, this is a huge patch, man. This is a huge patch. I'm going to try to run through as much as we can here. Hillbilly's getting some changes. They basically changed the overheat mechanic a little bit. They said that both starting the rev and continuing a rev has been reduced dramatically. That is the heating that you get from that. They also said that the amount of heat generated while sprinting, on the other hand, was slightly increased. They said, last but not least, they've toned down the Doom Engraving and Death Engraving add-ons. The pig has been nerfed. I'm not even joking. This every patch, the pig has to get nerfed. They said the pig increased this add-on's movement speed bonus to 10, and this was 6. They basically, yeah, the add-on hasn't been performing very well, so we've decided to nerf the pig, increase the add-on's movement speed to 10, and this was 6. Obviously, you know. Next is the Oni. 2 of the Oni add-ons, the Blackened Toenail and the Bloody Sash, has been changed. This basically allowed him to move faster while absorbing the orbs. They said these add-ons weren't performing as well as we liked, so we've given them some slight improvements. This will now increase the movement speed while absorbing by 0.4 and 0.7 respectively. This used to be 0.3 and 0.6, so we'll see how that goes. The Nightmare has some add-on changes as well. The Sheep Block and the Unicorn Blocks, which affect blindness to survivors. These add-ons weren't doing as well, so they increased the duration of the blindness of these add-ons by 30%. The Executioner is going to get some add-on changes. They said that the Scarlet Egg add-on that increased the duration of the Killer Instinct and inflicted the Rise of Judgment by 1.5. This didn't provide much value, so they've changed it to 3%. The Clown also got changes as well. They said that the Pinky Finger add-on was incredibly powerful, so they basically changed it to reduce the maximum held from 3 to 2. Next, we have the Bright Light Interactions removal. Essentially, if you have a flashlight and you shined it on an invisible wraith, they would get burned. If you shined it on a nurse holding her power, they would get burned. If you shined it on the artist's crows, they would disappear. All of that has been removed. All of that has been removed. So if the wraith is cloaked, you cannot burn him anymore. If the nurse is holding her power to blink, you can't burn her anymore. If the artist puts crows down, you can't burn her anymore. If the hag has traps on the floor, you can't use a flashlight anymore to get rid of them. However, to counter this now, you can basically walk up to the traps, they'll sneak around, and you can basically cleanse it with your hand. You don't need a flashlight anymore. So kind of a buff to you in that way if you're playing against a hag, and a nerf to the hag itself. But for the artists of Wraith and the nurse, that's pretty much a buff for them. It wasn't something that happened too often, so you know, I don't necessarily see a need for this change, but I get it. It's like an old-timey mechanic, so I can feel it. Next on the list is the Deep Rift and Beyond. So as you guys know, after Tier 70, we basically get some cool Deep Rift outfits, which are really cool. They said, as for tomes, you may have noticed a trend of emerging in the recent chapters. The lore has been expanded in the following tome. It's no coincidence. This is something we'll be doing for all new original chapters moving forward. This will allow us to expand further on the most recently introduced characters' lore in a bit more natural and exciting way. Licensed chapters will be an exception to this. While we would love to expand upon their stories, we have done in the past, like with Killers and Ghostface, it comes to their own franchises and their own stories to tell. Therefore, the tomes followed licensed chapters may feature existing original characters instead. So essentially what they're saying here is that the older tomes might get some Deep Rift stuff, which is really, really, really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited about that. And they said that all of this will be coming at the end of the month in the mid chapter. And I mean, the end of the month is next week, so probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Wow, we went through 20 minutes of reading of just random and good changes. Overall, I think this is the biggest developer update we've had in a very long time. We got perk changes, we got killer changes, we got Bloodweb changes, we got map changes, we got Deep Rift changes, we've got huge quality of life changes. I mean, the heartbeat coming in, huge stuff, guys. Map changes, huge things, healing changes. There's a lot. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. This was an absolutely fantastic read, and I can't wait to see how it's going to affect gameplay and what's going to go on with it. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And again, we're going to be live on Twitch, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. As always, ladies and gents, I've been your host, The King. I did my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog. Take care.